Want to see more cool videos on our channel? We do, so press this bell and enable to send notifications.
Ancient weapons may have been forged from wood, stone, and lower-grade metal, but they were all deadly. Recent discoveries unearthed rare swords and spear points, but also unusual facts. From fierce Vikings who did not use their swords, to clumsy-looking paddles designed to crush skulls, unexpected uses are coming to light. Researchers also look to weapons to clarify old murder cases, unknown cultures, and the ways in which nobility quietly killed each other off, like the god Hanumanji's Gadha, which is supposedly discovered during an excavation in Sri Lanka, to the very powerful and mythic hammer which Thor used to protect Asgard from the frost giants. Here are 10 recently discovered ancient artifacts. Number 10. Saga's Sword. In 2018, an 8-year-old girl went for a swim near her family's holiday home in Sweden. At one point, Saga Vanisek stepped on something. The object she pulled out of Vidostern Lake reminded her of a sword. When she told her father she had found something with a handle, he thought it was just a weird branch. However, when he showed the crusty thing to a friend, the truth dawned. Saga had been right all along. Researchers at the local museum in Jönköping County confirmed her diagnosis. It was a sword. Expert analysis proved that the rare relic was a 1,500-year-old pre-Viking weapon. In addition, the blade was well preserved. Sword fans can thank the region's drought for this discovery. The dry spell lowered the lake's water, and this was likely the reason why Saga found the sword. Its presence suggests that more ancient trinkets might be lurking in the Vidostern. Indeed, when the museum staff investigated, they found a 3rd-century brooch. Number 9. The BUZAU sword. In 2018, a worker did his shift at a gravel pit in BUZAU, Romania. That day, his job placed him at the site's conveyor belt. To his surprise, he found a sword among the debris. The man immediately handed the artifact over to the right authorities, which was lucky because this was no ordinary sword. It was over 3,000 years old and forged sometime during the Late Bronze Age. Interestingly, it was made in a mold that created decorations on the surface. The blade, measuring 47.5 centimeters, 19 inches long, and 4 centimeters, 1.6 inches wide, was in good condition. Sadly, the handle was gone. Made of some kind of organic material, it had decomposed and disappeared over time. The sword was among the best finds to recently come out of BUZAU and could be the tip of the iceberg. There is a chance that its owner, most likely a nobleman, might be buried near the gravel pit or even inside it. Number 8. Unknown Warrior Class. In 2018, archaeologists worked at an old site north of New Delhi, India. During the 3-month excavation, they found several things suggesting the existence of an unknown warrior class. At the village of Sonali, the team uncovered 8 tomb sites with some chariot remains. The 3 horse-drawn vehicles came from chambers built around 2000 BC to 1800 BC. Apart from suspecting that these were royal burials, the presence of weaponry supported the notion of warriors. Archaeologists found shields, daggers, and swords strong enough to be used in battle. 4,000-year-old chariots and an elite warrior class described by the team as technologically on par with other ancient civilizations in Mesopotamia and Greece were fine enough. However, the coffins were also a unique find on the continent. The copper decorations that adorned the caskets had never been seen before. The culture to which the artifacts belonged remains unknown. They were found near graves belonging to the mysterious Indus Valley civilization, but researchers are certain that the two were separate cultures. Number 7. North America's oldest weapons. When it comes to ancient spear points in North America, the Clovis variety was the oldest. This lost culture invented trademark stone tools from 13,000 to 12,700 years ago. In 2018, the dream of finding spear points older than Clovis came true. Archaeologists at a Texas site that had been under investigation for 12 years came across a dirt layer containing Clovis and Folsom points, Folsom is a younger culture. Beneath this layer were the long-awaited pre-Clovis spears. Made of chert and measuring 8 to 10 centimeters, 3 to 4 inches, the points were jumbled together with other tools. The age of the surrounding sediment dated the cache to a record-breaking 15,500 years. This introduced a new hunter society as America's first arrivals, an accolade that had always been given to the Clovis culture. In addition, the weapons were positively identified as game hunting equipment, the first to be discovered from any pre-Clovis site. Previous finds were usually just stone tools. Number 6. Brittle Viking swords. To date, around 2,000 swords from the battle-loving Vikings have been recovered. However, not all were used for fighting. In 2017, a study looked at 3 swords from Denmark dating from the 9th and 10th centuries. In a world first, the weapons were analyzed with neutron scans. This technology could peek deeper than X-rays into the metal. The process took digital slices of each sword. The images revealed that the blades were produced using a technique called pattern welding. Iron and steel strips were welded together, folded, and tweaked in different manners. This produced patterns on the sword surface. It also made these particular weapons unsuitable for fighting. Normal fighting swords had steel edges with impact-absorbing iron cores. The 3 Danish swords did not have this composition. In addition, the metal strips were treated to high temperatures, a habit that could have caused oxides to appear on their surfaces. Number 5. Norway's weapon graves. In recent times, researchers have investigated the weapon graves of Norway. The tombs contained arms carried by the deceased during their lives. Researchers found a remarkable story. Although Norway was far away from Rome, there was a connection, especially with weaponry. Graves dating to the time when the Roman Empire flourished contained weapons reminiscent of Roman legionnaires, swords, lances, shields, and javelins. However, when the empire collapsed around AD 500, the axe suddenly became a popular burial weapon. This was odd. Ancient Norwegians fought like the Romans, on battlefields with rules where axes had no place. Researchers suspect that this weapon became the favorite after a more brutal turn of events. The axe was a perfect domestic guerrilla warfare that probably saw raids, violent clashes, and attacks on leaders and their homes. Number 4. A poison ring. In the archaeological record, assassin accessories do not show up often. In 2018, excavations in Bulgaria found a ring that probably killed a few people. It was discovered at the medieval ruins of Cape Kailakra, home to the 14th century elite of the Dobruja region. Other jewelry was found at Kailakra, but those pieces were normal gold and pearl decorations. The bronze ring was 600 years old, beautifully made, and probably imported from Spain or Italy. Suspiciously, the interior was hollow and came with a side cavity. The latter was an inconspicuous, easy way to tip poison out of the ring. Made for the little finger of a man's hand, it showed that the assassin was right-handed. The cavity sat on the right, and a quick tilt would have poured death into his victim's drink. Number 3. Africa's Bone Age. The Stone Age in Africa is notable for one thing. Besides stone tools, people were adept at making bone implements. In 2012, archaeologists found a knife-like artifact near Morocco's coast. The quality suggested that bone craft had hit a remarkable level around 90,000 years ago. Prior to this discovery, bone-cutting tools were used for simple and general tasks. However, this one appeared to be a specialized knife. Analysis indicated that it was used to cut something soft, most likely leather. The hands that made it belonged to the Assyrian culture, a society dating back as far as 145,000 years ago. This find is not just about being good at making things from bones. It also challenged the idea that advanced toolmaking to support survival did not happen until much later. Number 2. Thor's hammer. No, we're not talking about Mjolnir, the very powerful and mythic hammer which Thor used to protect Asgard from the frost giants. Instead, this small artifact is a Viking amulet in the shape of Thor's hammer, which dates back to the 10th century. Archaeologists have found thousands of these, called THOR'S hammer, across the Viking world, but have always argued about whether they represent Thor's hammer or something else entirely. The discovery was found on Kobolov, part of the Danish island Lolland, and seems to have finally answered whether the amulet was made to resemble Thor's hammer or not. Strangely enough, the person who made this particular artifact was illiterate, so they inscribed runes on the amulet, which had been confirmed that these tiny trinkets do in fact represent Thor's hammer. It's a rare thing to discover a message from our ancient world, but when we do, the revelations are incredible. Number 1. Thames Beater. The Stone Age was violent. Many skulls showed the preferred way of killing, bashing somebody in the head. In 2017, researchers tried to identify the weapon of choice. The study focused on victims from Neolithic Europe because violence was abundant in the region. The era had archers, but the idea was to find something used only on people. It should not double as a hunting tool. The Thames Beater fit this profile, a 5,500-year-old wooden artifact resembling a cricket bat was pulled from the River Thames. Researchers whipped up a replica and artificial human skulls complete with skin, bone, and brains. The beater was handed to a healthy 30-year-old man who was asked to attack the heads as if his life depended on it. The results delighted the team. They never asked the volunteer to try to replicate the fractures, just to start hitting heads. Despite this, the wounds closely matched Neolithic injuries. One artificial skull even resembled a broken skull found at a 5200 BC massacre. The clumsy-looking Thames paddle turned out to be deadly. It was likely designed to serve exclusively as a human-killing device. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by clicking the like button. Do share, write a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch up my next video.